This is my work setup for the day. I'm plugged to the solar, keeping the van as cool as I can. And this is my view. It's definitely a lot of smoke. We had to close the windows pretty strong.
All right, so I took the fridge out for the second time since I've owned this thing, and it still doesn't work. So yeah, we're gonna remove this again, the other thing, and the other thing, and slide it out. Not a lot of fun. I'm trying to blow some of the, open the chamber for the first time, see how that goes. All right, mine's in a 1984 Volkswagen Westfalia. Give you some tips on how to remove this thing and put it back for the fridge, that is. So there are 4 screws kind of locking this thing in, because it's actually right now it's just tightly pushed in, and then it has on either side 2 thin pieces of wood that it kind of sits on. It's not the easiest thing to remove. You kind of have to wiggle it around and kind of pivot it on its angle, let it kind of shimmy down, and then it can come out. To remove it, there are 2 screws on this side. There's one down here. You just pop that guy open. There's 1 screw in there, and there's 1 in this little chamber, and you unscrew that one. So you undo that, that releases this side so you can pull it out, and the same is true on this side. Just in that drawer, 2 screws, pull those out, set them down. Okay, everything's down. And then on the outside, you have the flue, which has the screws there. You remove all those screws, and then it's loose. Then you have the electrical wires that need to be pulled and the gas line that needs to come off. The other thing to keep in mind, if you've opened your gas line at all to use your stove, there will be gas in the gas lines that needs to evacuate. What I try to do is burn off what I can here, but no matter what, there will still be some gas in the gas line for the fridge. So you're gonna wanna loosen it quite a bit as most you can, kind of let that gas escape. Open your windows, skylight, let all this thing ventilate for a while. Then you can completely remove it, and then you can wedge out your fridge and work on it. To do the removal, you're gonna need 3 things. I have a electric screwdriver, the Phillips head on it. This is for the gas line in the back of the fridge, and a flat tip because the flue, for whatever reason, 1 set of screws is a standard screwdriver. Not the Phillips head. It also has Phillips head though. And this is for the screws on the side and also for the flue vent. Removing everything or disconnecting everything is actually pretty easy. There's some videos on that. Before you pull it out, just remember like how deep you need to push it in. So it's right to about where this line is. All right, this is just to show you there's still gas in the gas lines, even though I turned it off. So see, I'm burning this off. Remember, there are 2 separate lines that feed. There's 1 line for the stove, there's another for the fridge. Brass lines right there. Those are coming up from the floor. And you can see now it's burned off. But no matter, still in the back here, when I undo that one, it will still release. Okay, and one other thing obviously that needs to be removed is the border piece here, which is right there. And one little tip when you're putting it back, gap here. So you want to keep track of how deep to push it, because there's really nothing other than friction that's keeping it from going further. So keep track of that. And then what we'll do is show you the other thing you want to keep in mind. A flue vent, once I pull everything, this thing actually sticks quite out, but when you're putting it back, oh, but mine is really kind of tight. So you have to be careful when I push the refrigerator out. I don't want to start tilting it right away because it'll get caught up on this, right? So you just want to kind of wedge it out as much as you can, and then go back and forth and just keep track of this thing because it will get stuck and hung up there. Okay, here you can see I replaced, that's a Go Westy fan, but it's pointless if this thing doesn't fire up. So I just removed this line here. Also, you want to make sure that you have some yellow gas tape. You can get at the hardware store. So when you put all this stuff back, that the gas is sealed nicely. So my next thing is to kind of remove all these screws. I got to remove this chamber and see what's going on. When you remove all of these screws that are around, there are also 2 screws down here holding this pipe thing. And then I removed these 2 screws. So hopefully you can see what's going on here. There's a little bit of debris. The burner and everything looks pretty clean. I'm gonna get that blown out with some compressed air. Let's hope that helps. Okay, interesting side note. I always thought that the pilot light was like literally exposed, like in that little hole. But actually there's a clear plastic tube which goes to a glass window here. So there's the flame, it never actually can be touched directly, which totally makes sense for safety. But what's interesting too is this little plastic thing slides out and to it. So you want to make sure it's against the window as best it can be. There's a clear window. So I cleaned all that up, cleaned this guy so that I should also be able to see the flame a lot better through the peephole. This has been thoroughly cleaned and reattached. Now I have to put the gas line back. I am going to put some of that yellow gas tape here to kind of help seal that as well. Okay, so the 3rd time of cleaning the fridge did not work. That was not a charm. Now we're going to try the bicycle pump method, where people have attached this to that line right down there, the drain line, and they add air into it and click it. So I'm going to try that and we'll see if that works. If that doesn't work, then this goes back and that's going to come out, and I'm going to figure out what to do next. Probably have to just get something different, brand new. Just made some coffee, breakfast in a bag. Refrigerator still doesn't work. There's a sink. All right, so we're starting to use the van every day. One of the problems we are running into, as you can clearly see, we're leaking brake fluid. We have an appointment tomorrow. We already kind of had an issue where with the rear brakes anyway, not really working. I mean, they're all brand new components, but when you press on the brakes, there's kind of a wobbly feel, and the front rotors, even though they were brand new, were ended up getting warped. So now the rear's something strange going on there, and now we're leaking fluid. So, you know, it's like 1 step forward, 2 steps back. Open your wallet, and that's kind of the challenge when you have something that's so old. And then hopefully I've got my friend who's gonna help get this thing repaired. So they're gonna grind it out, get rid of the rust, because it's actually poking through there. That was the one thing. And somebody tried to obviously fix it before and did a crappy job. So that's one of the other things. I changed up my routine. Before I was doing a grab and go. So now everything is separated: socks, underwear, shirts. It's just so much easier to do it that way because it's kind of a dark hole still in here. All right, we're taking a break in a hotel room. The van brake master cylinder needs to be replaced.
I was
More
homeless
money
all day because the van was at the mechanics all day. Well, yeah, but then they didn't fix anything. They just did the diagnosis. I have to bring it back tomorrow. So I asked to stay in a hotel so I can actually work comfortably tomorrow from this room.
But we're thinking about doing this for 2 days out of the week. It'll still save us money. Maybe not 2,000, but we think around 1,700. But we'll see. When we can, we'll do some campsites. Lily, we need to take you for a walk, and then it's lights out. See you guys later.